Hey traders, sorry a little bit late this morning. I was cooking this morning. At any rate, I'm going to start with the bond yields here real quick. I took the 2-year versus the 10-year on the yield curve this morning. We're actually catching a slight bid here early on here in the yield curve. So let's be mindful of that. That would be a little more supportive of the markets knowing that situation. Um, Basically, the bond markets are actually giving us a 70-75% chance of a recession based on the price action going on in the bond market, and that really rules the markets in general. Sometimes it takes a while for it to play out. So the way I've been trading this market, I have been shorting the resistance and taking my daily scalps, and I'm doing fairly well at it. And so that's what I'm going to continue to do until something in the bond market tells me that I'm wrong. So for all you guys who are going long the market, good luck, but that's just simply the way I'm trading it. I'm going to go with the USD JPY. So the carry trade with the yen is supportive of the markets that we're seeing this morning here. We're coming off of a uh, uh, 2, 2, 2, 3 pattern using Strat. And we close near the highs of the candle. So the 3 candle closing at the highs, that generally means it's a continuation pattern to the upside, and that suggests that we might have more buying coming into this market as the carry trade is supportive. So basically, as the carry trade unwinds, or as this chart goes lower, international investors have to sell off uh, U.S. Equities, SPX, to cover the carry trade unwind. And in this situation here, the carry trade is in the favor of more bullish global markets. The early price action that I do want to point out here in the market. So we had a little short squeeze in NVIDIA yesterday. So this is right here. This represents this week's anchored VWAP, how we're trending. This is how our trend is playing out on NVIDIA. As you can see, NVIDIA is continuing in a downtrend despite a very robust market this week. So be very mindful of that. The short squeeze is already obliterated after one day here on NVIDIA, giving us a warning sign that NVIDIA is not being supported this week. Palantir's hitting the tape this morning at major support this morning. So any further downside here, we can actually start initiating a short scenario here for Palantir. So remember, this thing just had a breakout move to the upside as it was announced it is being added to the S&Ps. This is our primary trend. A move back down to the primary trend into the 35s is not unheard of at all for Palantir this morning. So be mindful of that. Tesla on our radar this morning. Very bullish pattern here. It's still holding that bullish pattern. Uh, there's a very good chance that we could be coming up to the 250. That's our next call wall. We are in a positive gamma squeeze versus the 240. So, depending on how the markets play out this morning, a lot of times, if you blow through a major call wall like 240, they will hold it in place the current week. And the first of next week, we actually get the move to the 250. So to be very mindful of that. And we have not even backtested 240 yet. So my primary thesis would be on Tesla to backtest 240 to see if that becomes new support, and then see if we can make a trade at 250. Okay. Some things I'm looking at on SPY. In my opinion, you see how my channel is. This is our anchored VWAP for the current week, the current channel. We did not complete an exhaustion high, in my opinion, here on SPY, so that is still in the cards. We are at a 78.6 retracement versus this week's anchored VWAP. So we have to keep that, and we're into a massive call wall back test right here, right now, the 568. It is a major call wall here for SPY, 568 this week. So if you come down here on the open interest, well, shoot, it's not showing it. I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm sorry. Well, it's moved up to 570. 568 was the major call wall yesterday. So it has moved to 570. The call wall now, major call wall to 570 now. So be very mindful of that. Came right up into it. That's the 78.6 retracement. Like I said, it was 568. Now it's 570. So we are below that major call wall. So that's going to act as resistance going into the session in all likelihood. So let's definitely keep that on in watch. But remembering the old call wall and seeing how price reacts to that, that's important as well. So we had this bigger time channel. We are in a blow off top phase of that bigger time term channel, and we're potentially breaking the 78.6 of this channel here. So, I need a little bit lower before I would actually suggest trying to the short side, but there is a lot of reason to think that we're setting up for a short early on this morning. Okay, Qs showing out relative to the channel, holding up a little bit better. Okay, so showing a little bit more relative strength. So that really takes away from my bearish case a little bit here. So definitely keep that in watch going in today. Like I said, this channel is based off this week's anchored VWAP after I updated it this morning. Okay, the call wall coming in, it was 578 or 478 was our call wall yesterday. We have not back tested that, so that is a definite possibility that we could be coming back down doing a hard back test. So I always look for the potential of the back test of the prior call wall, to potentially buy the dip scenario. But right now we are in a positive gamma situation, still, because we are above that 478 from yesterday. Now today I didn't update the new call wall here. For today, our major call wall is 485. 485. That puts us up here, back up to the highs. So we'd have a major call wall. We have a double top situation here in the Qs. So heads up on that. This potential double top on the shorter time frame. Okay, so be mindful of that. IWM. IWM is just pretty much just walking the trend. And one thing about it is when I updated the anchored VWAP trend, it did not change from yesterday. A lot of these trends, we had that big move up in the market yesterday. The anchored VWAP trend for the week did not change overnight. So that suggests to me this is a little bit more stable. We just had a migration to the upside on IWM. So be mindful of that. We had this prior high. We're still trading above that prior high. So let's definitely keep this one on watch. And it's actually holding up even a little bit better at the 61.8 retracement. Where the SPY is actually all the way down to trying to break the 78.6. So definitely keep that one on watch. Diamonds moving back below the 61.8, showing a little bit more weakness versus everything. So heads up on that. SMH showing a lot of relative weakness here. We're below the 78.6 early on this morning. This here is our anchored VWAP for the week. So this suggests that the pattern is going to continue to the downside back to the anchored VWAP at the minimum. So this pattern right here, we got a gap below us. There is a good chance that we're going to fill this gap here on the SMH this morning. You see this gap right here? So this gap might be in the cards this morning where current price is trading. And as you can see, we've come down to that area before. We've easily come down to this area before. So definitely keep this on watch. SMH looking a little bit more bearish this morning. Semiconductors, Apple, it looks like it's bull flagging right now. We're in a bullish pattern, or it's in a bearish downtrend, trying to break out above the 78.6. So definitely keep this one on watch here. So this is still, in my opinion, a bullish pattern going into today's session. Microsoft looks like a bearish pattern. This is our anchored VWAP. We're right on the cusp of breaking 78.6. Heads up on this. This has probably been one of my first trades. A short on, and we have a gap right below us. A short on Microsoft today for the gap fill. So this is one of my top watches this morning, a possible short on Microsoft for the gap fill or more this morning, possibly all the way back down to the anchored VWAP. So honestly, when we come down, we tend to come down the anchored VWAP, so that suggests even going right through the gap fill. AMD, lot of open interest on at the 150 area here on AMD. We've blown up above that. It's kind of, this is our current trend. Nothing about that. I want to be trading the extremes. Yeah, and that's not really set up for a trade in my opinion. Tesla, did I do Tesla? Yeah, I did Tesla. Google. So Google, oh man, that's a tough one. So we're into the pattern has completed. It kind of, yeah, that's a tough one. So, so be careful on that one. Honestly, you probably have to wait until you, unless you break pre-market lows, you'd have to stick with the trend on Google. Meta, very strong pattern here. So, it does look like we just got a day one breakout of up to all-time highs. If you come down up here, 575 is the next. We're in a positive gamma situation with 575 being the next target. You have to lean to think that this is going to be supported and we're going to continue walking up to the 575 area. So heads up on that, in my opinion. Let me go down here. Amazon. I have to go out in a bigger time frame. Sorry. Amazon, we are into this resistance area. We haven't broken out of it yet. And we're still not breaking out early on this morning. So be very mindful of that. Nothing. If we were gapping above this trend early on this morning, I would suggest going long, but that we are not doing that. So this is proven to be resistance so far this morning. So you'd have to get above day highs before I would even think about suggesting do a directional higher trade. So be quite mindful of that in your trading today. Okay. XLS looking pretty good here. Still looks 46 now is the call wall. Still looks constructive to the upside. XLI still looks constructive to the upside. Transport's really got hit, so IYT is going to have going to get hit pretty hard today. So be very mindful of that. IYT is already coming down. We do have a gap right below us. In all likelihood, that is going to fill today here on IYT. XLV just pretty much flat for the week. No trade there. XLU coming off of an oversold situation for XLU. XLY still right into the call wall, the 198 call wall, still acting, got a nice gap here that could be filled if we went lower, but it's still acting quite supported so far this morning. XLP, my chart's messed up on that one. For some reason, my charts have messed up on that one, so you can't use this. XLE. XLE just seems to be walking the line here. Nothing about this suggests and we're right above a major support. So as you can see before, there's been a lot of consolidation at these lower levels before there was an attempted breakout. We did have a higher high attempted breakout already, similar to right here, and we're still basing. So it looks like this pattern right here. So, we'll see what happens here. This here does look much more constructive for a much higher breakout if and when it does manifest itself. XLK, very weak. See, this is your anchored VWAP. We're right here in the very low thralls of this anchored VWAP, thinking that this thing is not going, tech is probably going to sell back into the anchored VWAP today. So be very mindful of that. I don't really want to be pushing tech today from what I'm seeing. Netflix, looking quite weak in my opinion. Double topping situation. I'd be wanting to trade this to 700 or lower. In my opinion, I think this is a possible short here on Netflix. Okay, guys. Palantir. I don't know if I did mention. I mentioned that one. Okay. So, like I said, it was a major support. So they may save it, they may not. Okay, that gives you a rundown what I'm looking at. Thanks a lot. Please retweet my video on Twitter if you get a chance. Like the video if you can, and leave some comments below. I really appreciate it. But like I said, um, I'm actually going to be trying to find scalp shorts. So good luck with your trading, and I will see you in the trading room.